Well, welcome along to Tracktalk once again. The action continues at a pace here at the Singapore Turf Club. We've got an 11-race card coming up for you this Sunday afternoon, and what a card it is as well. It's an extremely intriguing and interesting one here at Kranji. I'm pleased to say that Raymond has joined me in the studio as always. And Ray, some interesting races this week. We've got a few very interesting looking handicaps which we'll get to in due course, and I think because of that, it's due to the withdrawal of the priority pass. But firstly, how are you? Good to have you in the studio as always, and I hope you found a few winners for us.
Yes, I'm good. Hopefully, of course, although today gonna be a very tricky day, of course, but we see some of horses coming in good form, such as Sun Ops, 2 starts, 2 wins, and of course the race 11, Mystery Power had 1 start that was in a very good run in 1200, stepping up distance. I think probably can do it today.
Yeah, indeed. He's a very interesting horse, is Mystery Power. Just on that news of the priority passes, obviously, they were obviously given last July, Ray, for trainers to try and, almost guarantee they were going to get some of their more choice runners into the field. They've now been sort of scrapped, as it were, and because of that, with horses being balloted, we have ended up with a couple of handicaps this week where the benchmark rating is rather low for the standard of the race. But I think that's just probably the first week on the back of no priority passes, and it's something that will certainly rectify itself. But it's an intriguing situation we're in with the top weight being 52.5 kilos in one of the later races.
Yes, I think you're referring to the race 3s and race 7 and race 8, these 3 races who have the highest rated horse being in the emergency year 1 and year 2, so there's a big gap in between the rating as well. So the weight is big discrepancy in terms of the top weight holding 52.5. So it's very peculiar in this week racing.
It certainly is. It's a very odd situation, really, to try and work out. But it's an interesting handicap nevertheless. Danny Beasley riding top weight of 52.5 kilos. I'm not sure that's ever happened before. But anyhow, as Ray alludes to, Sun Ups, Mystery Power, a couple of very nice horses on the card. We've also got a very nice looking restricted maiden race too, with some interesting newcomers in that. Michael Clements has got a strong hand, and all the usual fun of the fair with the Class 5 racing as well. Some competitive races actually, with the race of the day being a Class 3 handicap. Let's take a look at the premierships now, and these are the trainers and jockeys doing best. Michael Clements with 28 winners, 2 clear of Mark Walker, who's had a great time of things, so he's gradually edging into the champion trainers tally. Stephen Gray with 13, just 1 runner this week for Stephen. Dan Marr 11, and Hideyuki Takaoka sneaks onto the bottom there with 10. Mark Lerner leads the jockeys by 1 to Vlad Jurek. Louis Berthelin with 15, also just 1 behind Jurek there, so it's a bit of a 3-way go at the moment. But Jimmy Wong might have something to say, so too Dan Beasley with 12 winners apiece there, and 23 winners for Hakeem Cameroon, 7 for Krisner, 6 for Rosman Askanda, 5 for Simon Cock, who's been in good form of late, and 2 for Fazli Yusuf. Well, the details, we've got 11 races, as I've alluded to already. 12 o'clock we start. We're on the long course D for 5 and 6 on the poly track on Sunday afternoon. So you can catch all the action from 11:30 on both the Racing Channel and across Singapore pools as well. Let's take a look at the card for race number 1. It's over 1,700 metres. Echouaz Nuez heads the weights here for Mark Lerner, drawn in gate number 1. Next to him will be the last start winner, Lion Spirit. Further down, the likes of Sun Conqueror. Endless has been in decent enough form. He's got 54 kilos there. Joyful Aspiration, JP van der Merwe. And over the page, well, Porashiri, will he want to win this time? He's looked questionable. He's got 52 kilos. Krisner rides, Blue Chips off speed, 19 Gale unfixed.
Well, first up, let's look at the track work of Elvis Nuez on Tuesday morning together with stablemate Angel Halo. That was a good workout to both. He's a course and distance winner, and he's doing pretty well of late, so in good form, even though in top weight, but I think he should be able to do it today in this 1,700. Not a very strong Class 5.
Yeah, he's interesting, isn't he? That was a good bit of work, as you've alluded to there, Ray, finding that for us from earlier on this week. Let's have a look at Porashiri now, the stablemate. I wanted to show this pass run because, look, I know he was beaten, and it was a good run, and some may say, well, I mean, arguably he didn't want to win, but it's tricky, isn't it? Because you can see, I spoke to Mark Lerner about this horse, and he said he always does this when he comes under pressure, and that's the explanation he gave to the stewards as well after this performance. So he either, one, resents the persuasion and the whip, shall we say. 2, you just don't know sometimes. Horses might be feeling something, but he's clearly a sound horse. Mr. Takaoka's happy to run him again. So he's just got such an awkward way of going.
Yes, I went back to look at his performance the last few starts ago. He had the same thing as well. So the rider had to stop riding because he put his head up, and as you say, under the urging, he was really resent the urging. So I don't know, maybe they try something else. Hopefully this young Krishna will be able to do it this time out.
Yeah, indeed. They have actually put a tongue tie on him, haven't they, as well, this time around, which could be quite interesting. Let's have a look at Lion Spirit, who was the last start winner. This was over 1,700 metres, obviously the usual suspects here. Sun Conqueror second, got Etoise Nuez in the race as well, further back to Surian. Can he do this again? I mean, this was a nice win.
Not easy. Of course, he's stepping up in terms of rating. He got 6 rating points since his last win. But however, he kept in good form. As you said, Alan Nunes is in here, Sun Conqueror as well. So these are a few usual suspects that they're going to compete in this race.
Yeah, indeed. I must just ask you about, before we get to the selections, about Surian. Now, I know he was well beaten there, but it's an interesting jockey booking. He takes them out here, Vlad, on Surian. I mean, it's an interesting booking, nevertheless.
Yeah, nevertheless, he's a course and distance. He's a course and distance winner. Keep him good form as well. Of course, he did. Get a pretty good success under Timothy training. I think probably one of a chance today.
Yeah, he's certainly an interesting. I thought Endless was another one he could throw into the mix as well in the opener. Let's have a look at the selections for the first of 11. I'm going Sun Conqueror, a bit like Ray here, over Lion Spirit. In fact, we've got very similar numbers. Lion Spirit I put into second. Etoise Nuez should run well again. I've thrown Endless in for fourth. But no spot for Porashiri. I just question him too much, to be honest. 4-2-1-9.
Yeah, I'm putting for number 4, Sun Conqueror. He has to handle the white barrel draw, but he's keeping himself in good form. Number 2, Lion Spirit, and Etoise Nuez, of course, he's a course and distance winner. Number 11, Parachute, mainly because he's in good form. However, there's a big question about him able to handle the pressure. 4-2-1-11.
Indeed. Let's take a look at the card for race number 2. It's a restricted maiden. King Arthur and Reignite lead the way for Team Walker and Team Tiakau there. Really good little race this. I've been looking forward to this one. A couple of newcomers as well. Den of Thieves is a half-brother to What's New, who's a very talented racemare here. Prodigal, 3 in the race here for Michael Clements. Also got Shanghai Star and Star Fortune. Everest is the man of Dan Beasley, and he rides out on for Ricardo Lagrange. And Dabble down at the bottom, just a 2-year-old. Mohamed Zaki is going to do the 49 kilos on board Dabble. Well, let's take a look at a trials package, and we're going to start with Den of Thieves, who ran second on his second trial. He's a son of El Rocker out of the mare Pussycat Dream, which makes him a half-brother to the excellent What's New. And we remember her well, Ray.
Yeah, she had run well in the 4 years old beating the Sacred Quad.
Group 2 winner.
Yeah, Group 2 winners. And subsequently in the Derby was beaten by this Sun Marshall.
She ran okay in the Derby.
Yeah, she ran okay. A bit green though, but as we look at Dan Thief on the trial.
Yes, he can improve. Here's Shanghai Star now in his ORT trial. This is a son of Smart Missile out of a mare called R. Josephina. Interesting enough, the mare was trained by Jim Conlin and owned by a certain Cliff Brown. So that ties back into What's New.
Yeah, What's New as well. But look at his performance on the trial that day. He went to the front, Shanghai Star. Pretty honest type of horse. Really worked his way out. I kind of impressed with his trial. Dan
was a 2,200 metre winner, I should say, and half to 1,100 metre winner as well, so a bit of speed. Here's Everest now in this one's trial. Dan was a Group 2 and Group 3 place getter for Todd Pletcher, second in 2 trials. I thought this one's run on quite well in that recent trial, so I did think he was interesting, Everest, and he races for the Mendoza Racing ownership group. It cost $500,000 US, so a very expensive horse when purchased. Let's have a look at some form now. We're going to start with Reignite, who represents Mark Walker. Both he and King Arthur coming through the same race.
Yes, look at Reignite. He went to the front, or rather midfield, and he tried to challenge the Alan Nunes stablemate, but of course couldn't really catch up with Alan Ness then, sorry. But he had a good run that time. Of course, his stablemate Arthur King a little bit slow up in the front. He tried to catch up though. But that was a good performer, Reignite. Yeah,
1, 2, 3 there for Mark Walker in that race. Obviously, Reignite clear of King Arthur, who ran on well from the rear of the field. Vlad Jurek will take the ride this time. Here's a Sovereign for Tim Fitzsimmons. Drops back in trip this time around. What was your take on that? He's been racing well over slightly further.
Yes, he's been racing well without winning. This a Sovereign, a little bit caught in between the horses, but he did try to run one. Trying to get his form back, but the last 2 runs was quite encouraging.
Certainly were encouraging runs, actually, weren't they? Sovereign, son of Darcy Brahma, and I think Tim's got a horse that he can win with quite soon. I mean, the horse that beat him was Bruce Ornaughty last time. He runs on the card as well.
Yes, Bruce Ornaughty wasn't just find his form of late. So it is a competitive restricted maiden. I can look at it. There are a few horses who have genuine chance in winning.
They certainly do. One horse that could be very interesting on debut is owned by a group of owners called the Functioning Degenerates. I think they're an amazingly interesting sounding group as we take a look at their horse. And the horse's name is Prodigal. And we can take a look at a recent trial. Now, the horse that runs second in this trial, Ray, is Star Fortune. Sorry, third, I should say. I thought he'd done this quite nicely, Prodigal.
Yes, he went to the front. Look at him. The way he ran on was pretty mature. He looked professional for 3 years old. And he went up and challenged this Star Harmony was inside. Yeah, good turn of foot from this Prodigal. Looked like a big, strong 3 years old.
Yeah, Dam took 25 races to break the maiden, but finally did. He was green in that trial, but did it well. Here he is in some track work with Star Harmony.
Yes, we're training together in the Tuesday morning. Of course, two of them look pretty green, but they look strong and eager to run on. So I think genuine chance.
Star Harmony goes in race 4. Interesting that horse goes there. Obviously, Michael perhaps trying to split the runners up. He's also got Shanghai Star in this as well. We'll obviously we have taken a look at him in his trial. Here's Dabble now, just a 2-year-old, son of Pure Champion. What do you make of him? He has improved in his trials. He only costs $3,000.
Oh, pretty value for money in terms of this thing is a tree value. Yeah. The one who beat him was Rich Fortune that we talked about this horse. 22 rating point. So pretty, not a very strong trial.
You could question the trial form.
Yeah. Not a very strong trial.
Here he is working with Big Green Hat, who runs in race 4. Yeah. Look, I couldn't knock the track work. Shane's horses always work very well, always work within themselves. They never ask too many questions of. So there is his track work, Dabble, just a 2-year-old, and does receive upwards of 5.5 kilos as well. So that could be quite interesting. We must give a mention, Ray. We've literally mentioned most of the field here, to be honest. But first off, Conspiranza.
Conspiranza have been knocking on the door a couple of times, but not being able to win. But I thought this time around, maybe a place time, because this is, as I look at it, there are a couple of horses who just appeared in Singapore with very good form. So maybe a place time for me.
I'll tell you one horse that I think is very interesting is Lim's Dreamwalker. I know many will look at this and say he ran in a maiden last time, he was only 4th. That run was better than it looked. And go back through his form, his course and distance form, 3rd to Boomba, 2nd to one of your favourites, a Bliss the Scent. I mean, that's actually good form. And you know what? I just think this horse now, the penny's beginning to drop with him.
Yes, yes, you're right. A little bit losing patience with him, rather. Getting a lot of money, but
he's a beaten favourite 4 times.
Yeah, several times. I think a lot of people must have got very disappointed with him.
Possibly, but let's hope he can bounce back for his connections. I'm going to go with Reignite here, a bit of form, I reckon. Could be the way to go. Both Ray and I are thinking the same. We've also got Prodigal in for second, the two of us. I think he's a nice horse. And I actually spoke to Shafrizal, his rider in the week, and I said, which one are you riding? And he said, Prodigal. I said, which one's the best? He said, Prodigal. So, he's a good judge, the young man. Lim's Dreamwalker in for third, and a friend King Arthur, who's, I think, still learning his craft, in for 4th. 2, 7, 4, 1.
Yeah, I'm going for number 2 as well, Reignite. Number 7, Prodigal, of course, first time appearance. He looks like a mature professional. Number 1, King Arthur, and number 8, another first time appearance in Singapore, Shanghai Star. So 2, 7, 1, 8.
Yeah, good race that, the second. Looking forward to that one as well. Love seeing those newcomers on show. Race 3 is a Class 4. Now, this race runs from 49 rates up to 55, and Aftermath, who's the second emergency, is rated 64, so he would have been the natural top weight. So the spread of weight here, 50 up to 53 kilos. They go without Hyde Park. And Stormy View is the top weight, with Krisner taking the ride there. Further down, the likes of Lord of Cloud. If he was on his best form, he could win this and carry 1 or 2 possibly. Massio, Tax Freeze in form. We'll take a look at him shortly. Triple Bowl, Danny Beasley with a lightweight. Could be very interesting. Northern Sun, Street Party, Winning Spirit and Aftermath are both EAs.
Yes, as a look at the trial of Stormy View, this mare has been trialing pretty well, nicely. Not much of speed from her, but you need to sit back and run on. But that was a pretty good trial at 61.13 seconds.
It certainly was, wasn't it? Her last win came off a 3-point lower mark on yielding ground. Polytrack record has been placed once from 5, so she'll handle it. and that trial certainly she wasn't getting all that far there. But look, it's not an overly deep race. It really isn't. I mean, it obviously resembles like the old Cranji D format, really. So, what about a horse like Masio, who started off quite well, didn't he? Ended up just winning a maiden, making all. That was course and distance, though.
Yeah, his win wasn't that stellar, as you said, just a course and distance, but that was in the maiden field. Not a very strong race, coming in the couple of races in the novice and class 4, couldn't really made the mark.
Interesting runner in the race is Masio, down a point on his last run. Drawn wide though in gate, they come into a couple to 12 from 14. Here's Tax Free, who last time out behind a run success wasn't beaten all that far. We're having a look at his trial, he ran second. This is the type of race that Tax Free can go well in.
Yes, I like this horse in particular. His trial was pretty interesting, and his morning workout on Tuesday was very strong and powerful. He looks like he's in very good form. He raced well and he tried out pretty freely. So I thought Tax Free present himself a very genuine chance.
Yeah, he does look well in his track work, doesn't he? So certainly he could be an interesting runner here. Tax Free does go well fresh as well. Saifuddin's riding, he's got a light weight, so there's a little bit to like about him. And before we get to the speed map, just Lord of Cloud, obviously, as I mentioned, if he was on his best form, a marker 51 looks like he's thrown in, and they go without Hyde Park, who could have been quite interesting in the context as well. But let's have a look at where the speed might come from here, Ray, and here it is. It doesn't look to be, well, there looks to be a bit of tempo in the race.
Yes, more of a moderate type of speed in this field. If winning the Spirit got to run, he probably would the one going to go to the front and lead. Going to be leading easily. But Marcio, of course, with some natural speed. King Zoo Star, Tax Free, Playing Crown, and of course Iron Clays probably going to race in the middle.
Yeah, some of the back markers, the likes of Triple Bowl, who we'll just mention before we get to the selections. He'll go back. Street Party's another back marker, and will Stormy View, the top weight. She's unlikely to be to the forefront early. So a moderate pace, we believe, for the third. Just on my selection here, I've gone with Triple Bowl. I just thought that run 3 back behind Charisma was good, and it should be too good, I think, in a race like this, personally. Dan Marr, Dan Beasley combining. We know that they are obviously successful, plentiful teaming up, and a good draw. I reckon they might ride him prominently, and I think Triple Bowl's the one to be with.
Yes, I'll probably present some good value for Triple Bowl.
Triple Bowl for me over Tax Free. Wealth Elite goes in. I throw King Zoo Star in as well, 10.925.
For me, number 11, Northern Sun, so hopefully he can get the job done with Shabriza, getting more right. And number 9, Tax Free, I think he's presented a very good chance in winning this race. Number 5, King Zoo Stars, and number 2, Wealth Elite. So 11, 9, 5, 2.
Yes, indeed. It's an interesting race, that one, with obviously a top weight of 53 kilos. Doesn't happen all that often, but with 3 races in here on Track Talks, there's so much more still to come. And don't go ahead, do join us after this break. Much more action coming up here on Track Talk for May the 9th.